So last night, Austin Theory did something that a lot of fans didn't think was possible, but they did theorize could potentially happen if left with no other choice. And that is the fact that Austin Theory became the first Money in the Bank winner. That's right, he made history to cash in his briefcase not on the WWE Championship, not on the Universal Championship, and most certainly not on both championships now known as the Undisputed title. Instead, he decided to cash in on the United States Championship. And he lost. Despite the fact that Bobby Lashley annihilated Seth Rollins, and then, just as Theory seemed to be on the verge of becoming champion again, Bobby Lashley hurt him. He basically took him out of the equation. And because of that, Austin Theory, just barely beating, the 10 count before he got counted out, enters the ring only to get curb stomped in the process, and thus ending his run as Mr. Money in the Bank. Now, a lot of people, of course, were kind of upset about this, and some were kind of curious about this. Like, okay, why? Why would you have Austin Theory do this? Why would you have him cash in on a mid-card title, an upper mid-card title that, yes, like the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown, is getting a little bit more love, a little bit more recognition and prestige added to it, like it always should have. But why have him cash in and not wait till at least maybe what they originally were planning to do, which was a plan they had discussed, and that's wait until maybe next year's Money in the Bank event, if there is one, or that time frame of or that year-long time frame of when this year's Money in the Bank happened, coinciding with next year's timeline, if you know what I mean. Why wait? Why not wait to that exact moment almost? And a lot of people looked at this and they thought to themselves, it wouldn't, and they thought basically to themselves, it just doesn't make sense. It's a complete waste. It's basically you're insulting the intelligence of the fans. And why you, Triple H of all people, would do that. And I think it's real simple. It's real simple. You see, Triple H knows that WWE was in a bind. See, unlike Vince McMahon, Triple H does see the major value that Roman Reigns has. Now, I'm not saying that Vince didn't either, but when Vince was in charge and Austin Theory was his boy on and off screen, if you know what I mean, people pretty much were always wondering, okay, when is Theory going to, become champion? When is Vince going to book the scenario of, Austin Theory cashing in and becoming champion? When is it going to happen? And we never saw it. We never saw it because shortly after Money in the Bank, Vince McMahon, as we all know, is basically ousted out of power because of the allegations. And because of that, Stephanie and Nick Khan come in, take charge. Triple H gets all this power that everybody knew he was going to get, but just didn't expect it to be so soon. And Triple H basically said, look, Roman's too hard of an act right now. The bloodline's too hard of an act right now. We cannot afford him to lose it to someone like Theory, who is not ready. He is not ready to be in that position. He's not ready to be in that position. So what did Triple H do? Triple H did the most logical thing. He said basically that, he was going to essentially restart Austin Theory at square one. And by restarting Austin Theory back at square one, he was basically, reverting Austin back to what he was in NXT. And that was a goofball. A goofball who is basically smarter and more devious than he looks, but is still a goofball. He's an idiot. And to prove that he is once again in that position, he's back at step one, you have him make the idiotic decision in the eyes of many folks of cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase on an upper mid-card championship. Now, like I said earlier, Austin Theory did make history. This was historical because nobody who's ever won Money in the Bank has ever decided to cash in on a mid-card championship. No one. Not Edge when he was the first winner. Not Kennedy when he won, but then relinquished it to Edge, if you will. Not CM Punk. Not Brian Danielson. Not Kane. Not Undertaker. Undertaker won the Rumble, but you get the idea. Yeah, right? Not Braun Strowman, not Randy Orton, not John Cena. None of the Money in the Bank winners from the men's side of things ever cashed in on a mid-card championship. Not even Baron Corbin right now. Not right now, but not even Baron Corbin, I should say, when he won, who is currently right now aligned with JBL. Not even Baron Corbin did that. Not even Damian Sandow, did that. Aaron Stevens, if you will. I think that's his name. None of them ever did that. Theory is the first one to do it. Theory is the first one to do it. And why is he the first one to do it? Because of the fact that, again, it's all part of a bigger plan, obviously. Triple H sees potential in Theory, but doesn't see the potential in Theory if he goes down the path that Vince McMahon put him on. Instead, he wants to start him back at square one and be like, look, you're going to be the world champ one day. Right now, you're not in that position to be that. You're not in that position to even attempt to cash in, because your cash in legitimately would look unbelievable. And that's the truth. That's the legitimate truth. So, for Austin Theory to lose the briefcase the way he did, to fail his cash in, to go bankrupt, yes, it was all part of a plan to basically get him back to square one, back to the Austin Theory that appealed to Triple H, that he saw in Evolve. The plan is to get Austin Theory back to that position, but also kind of keep him, or not keep him, but kind of have him go back to what he was in the NXT days. Basically before Black and Gold became Nickelodeon, as some people call it. And that was with The Way, where he was basically a goofball. He was an idiot, if you will. So, what better way to potentially go that route with Austin Theory to get him back to that, to that place, that he once was, than to have him lose, the briefcase, lose, his cash in on a mid-card title, upper mid-card title, semi-main event mid-card title, whatever you want to call it. What better way to make him, start off again at square one, reboot him, if you will, back to what he was before, maybe with a few changes here and there, but kind of get him back to where he was previously, before Vince got his hands on him. What better way to do that than to have him come full circle and show that he is indeed the goofball, the idiot, that even people like JBL would look at and say, yeah, he's a ding-dong. By having, Austin Theory make the decision of, hey, I'm going to cash in on the U.S. Championship. And he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that, but he did. I mean, the one thing people point out, talking about that as well, is it was an open challenge. All Austin Theory had to do was come out, accept the open challenge, and then even if he lost, maybe attack Rollins from behind and then cash in, and it would have made more sense. But they went the route they did because they wanted to reboot him back to what he was in the, from the get-go. And that is a idiotic goofball that makes dumb decisions, but if in the hands of someone like Triple H, could be a goofball that matures, could be an idiot that smartens up and learns from his mistakes, and comes to realize that, maybe he shouldn't have listened to a senile old man and made his own decisions. That's what I think is on the is on basically we are basically on the verge of with Austin Theory. That now that he is cleansed of that Money in the Bank briefcase, it basically makes sense for him to kind of get a refresher, a reboot under the helm of Triple H. Have him, like I said, and I know I'm saying this a lot, but have him go back to being the goofball idiot that he is, but have what he did, have that decision that he made last night on Raw be a learning experience, be something that he's going to grow from and realize that he's not acting like the Austin Theory that attracted that basically the WWE was attracted to, in the first place. That the way he's been acting, the way he's been, just carrying himself, is not the Austin Theory that WWE got attracted to, that, got him signed to an NXT contract and to a full-time WWE main roster contract. The potential, the potential is right in the palm of Triple H's hands with this guy. And I guarantee that this, and I think even Austin Theory probably agreed with him when they told him, look, you're going to go out there and you're going to cash in, but you'll cash in, you're going to fail, but the reason you're going to fail is it's going to be a restart for you. We're going to restart you the way you should have been. The way you should have been presented, not the way you were. And I'm sure after they talked to Austin Theory and made him realize that, Theory agreed. Theory basically probably agreed, like, yeah, you're right. Why do I even have this if the guy I'm supposed to cash in, this opportunity on, is virtually untouchable? And that basically, if I try to cash in on him, nobody's going to believe I'm going to win because they would more believe I'm going to get my ass kicked. So I'm guaranteeing you this. They probably talked to him about it over the past couple of days, and he probably realized that and he probably agreed it's the best solution. It's the best solution for him in the long run. And I guarantee this. Like I said, we are on the verge. The opportunity is there. We are on the verge of an Austin Theory, not only that we first saw in Evolve, who talked the talk and walked the walk, even if he was a heel and a heel champion, but we're on the verge of an Austin Theory that's going to be 10 times that, if not more. All based on the decision that was made last night. And I guarantee you, this is probably a decision that was made weeks ago. They just had to wait to the opportunity for the right opportunity, I should say, to present itself. And the right opportunity was last night. It was last night, because last night seemed like basically a cleansing, another step of the cleansing of the past, cleansing WWE of the past, decisions and mistakes that were made. Did you not see what Nikki Cross did with the 24/7 title? She wins it from Dana Brooke, and then she tosses it in the trash like it's nothing. She's just casually walking by, going, just acting all Nikki Cross crazy, and then just takes the belt and slides it off her shoulder and into the trash, basically missing the trash can. But basically the symbolism of it is that Triple H and his crew are like, yeah, that 24/7 title was a joke. That shouldn't have even been, a thought in the first place. And with Nikki Cross doing that was basically their message of saying, we're not here to play jokes anymore. We're not here to play games anymore. It's like, yeah, we'll have a little bit of comedy here and there, but having a championship like that only makes our wrestlers, all men and women, look like a joke. So getting rid of it the way they did, by just having Nikki Cross just casually just drop it in the trash, or at least in the vicinity of the trash, that's symbolism of saying we're done with this. We're done with this. If kids want to, if some co-workers at the, Mohegan Sun Arena, in Wilkes-Barre want to pick it up and take it home to the kids so the kids can have something to pretend they're a wrestling champion with, then so be it. That's basically the message we got from what Nikki Cross did. And the same could be said with Austin Theory. Last night, despite how you might have felt about it, and even despite how you may have felt how the crowd was giving off very not enthusiastic vibes, that were there in attendance. on television, despite how you feel about that, you do have to agree that some of the things that happened last night, these two things more specifically, and mostly the Austin Theory thing, were all about a reset, all about cleansing and wiping out some of the other mistakes and decisions that were made throughout the Vince McMahon regime. That's what it was about. It wasn't about, just trying to put on a good show in front of a very underwhelming crowd in Wilkes-Barre. No. It was about basically sending a message in several ways. And that message was, even though it's still going to take time, these little things here and there that we did, these little decisions we made here and there, we made them because they need to be made. They need to be made to reset the wrong, to right the wrongs that were done. And like I said, Theory probably was talked to by Triple H, and Theory, as I mentioned, probably agreed that it just didn't make sense for him to hold that briefcase, for as long as he's holding it, if the guy he's supposed to cash in on is virtually unbeatable. And that everybody knows that if he was to do it, he would get legitimately, well, not legitimately, but in their minds, legitimately would get his ass kicked. So it didn't make sense for him to have it. But, as I mentioned at the beginning, it did do something else. And I mentioned this in the video I did last night walking home from the bus stop in Newman. It did do one other thing. It legitimized the fact that what everybody was hoping for, everybody has been speculating, even since the dawn of Money in the Bank itself. Last night, Austin Theory made history. Like I said, he actually made history doing this reset, if you will, that he took part in. This kind of reset, this rebooting, this cleansing. He made history by acknowledging that the Money in the Bank briefcase doesn't necessarily have to be cashed in on the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship or the Undisputed Championship, which both are combined. No, it can be cashed in on any championship of your choosing. Any championship. Which basically, sorry about that, I was just looking at something there. I got distracted for a moment. But which basically, like I said, legitimizes the importance, the prestige and importance of a championship like the U.S. title, of a championship like the Intercontinental title, and to an extent, if they want to find a partner, the importance and prestige of the tag titles. It puts importance on those championships now. Because now when you see the person win Money in the Bank, whether it's at the Money in the Bank event itself or WrestleMania, now you don't have to be curious as to when are they going to cash in on the WWE champ or the Universal champ or the Undisputed champ. No. Now it makes you wonder, what champion will they cash in on? Who will they cash in on? And that to me honestly is a great idea. That to me is a great idea because it not just still gives importance to your top tier championships, your world championships, in your company, but it also gives importance to your upper mid-card championships. It also gives them back that prestige that people feel that they've lost. Because now it makes you wonder, not when is the person, the Money in the Bank winner going to cash in on the world champion or the Universal champion, but now it makes you wonder, what champion are they going to cash in on? And again, it could be extended to the tag titles as well, because all you'd have to do is have the winner find a partner, maybe the friend on television, on screen, and together they could challenge by the MITB winner cashing in the briefcase. They could challenge for the tag titles. Simple as that. Simple as that, if you will, because again, you're not just limiting it anymore by Austin Theory doing what he did, even though it was part of a reset. You're not just limiting the briefcase, the Money in the Bank contract to just your world titles. Now you're giving importance and prestige somewhat to the U.S. Championship, to the Intercontinental Championship, to the NXT Championship. Remember, Theory even teased he might cash in on Braun Breaker. You know, you're putting importance on that. You're putting importance in a way, if the Money in the Bank winner was to find a partner, maybe a close friend of theirs, you're putting importance on the possibility of cashing on the tag titles. You know, and even the NXT tag titles, and the NXT North American title. Again, this has a domino effect that's a positive one. And that positive domino effect is now any championship, you know, outside of the WWE Championship, the Universal title, and together, you know, known as the Undisputed title, it gives that importance and prestige to them. And I, for one, appreciate that. I, for one, appreciate the fact that, because it shows the importance, you know, of not just cashing in to become the champion in WWE, but it shows the importance of becoming a champion, period, for, you know, with any championship, and cashing in on whatever champion you feel is the best opportunity for you to get that chance yourself, you know, to become champion. So even though Austin Theory cashing in and losing last night, you know, was part of a reset, basically in the long run, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it was not only done to help him restart from square one and potentially, under Triple H's guidance, be the Austin Theory we know he could be, but at the same time, it put an importance on the fact that Money in the Bank doesn't have to just be cashed in on the World Championships. Now you could look at it as being, you know, something that can be utilized to cash in on any championship, and by default, you show the importance. You show the importance, ladies and gentlemen, and the prestige that those championships have and are valued by having, you know, fans speculate the fact of, you know, not what world champion will the MITB winner cash in on, but mainly, you know, again, like I said, you don't just have them wonder, like, what money in the, you know, what world champion will they cash in on, but now you make them wonder not just what world champion, but what champion, period, will they cash in on. That to me is a great move, in my opinion. Yes, it did do a few things. It did get the Money in the Bank briefcase off Austin Theory. Yes, it did set the path for him to be reset to so he could be the Austin Theory we know he can be. It did that. But what it also did, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, what it also did is it gave importance. It gave importance to those other championships outside the world titles, which many people expect the Money in the Bank winner to cash in on, not realizing that now it doesn't have to be it doesn't just have to be the world title that could be in jeopardy, because now by doing these cash-ins, you're giving importance, like I said, importance and prestige and value back to those championships of the Intercontinental, the U.S., and potentially by extension the tag titles, the NXT title, the NXT North American title, and the NXT tag titles. So it basically has a domino effect to it. It has a domino effect to it. So anyway, looks like somebody took something from our store and the alarm is going off. But Anyway, I like this idea. I do like it. I do like what they've done here, and again, it's going to be good for Austin Theory because it's going to help him become the Austin Theory under Triple H's guidemanship, be the Austin Theory that we know he could be, basically be the Theory we saw in Evolve, if not 10 times more than that, as well as it now gives value and importance to those mid-card championships. It does. It gives importance and value and prestige back to those mid-card championships, because now you don't have to worry and wonder, okay, when is it the MITB winner going to cash in on the world champ or the universal champ? Now it makes you wonder, as I mentioned, what champ will they cash in on? So, in the long run, I think it did a lot of good on both sides of the situation. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. My best is about here, and let me know what your thoughts are and everything. And until next time, as I try to turn on my phone here so I can stop the recording. But until next time, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll talk to y'all later.